Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Drakage 2000 show. You're watching the D2K Simulators channel, and today I compared all the small tractors and their ability to pull cultivators so that you don't have to. This video took me a long time to make, so I would really appreciate all the love that you could send it. With 17 tractors to review, we have quite a bit to get through. I will put a timestamp down in the description down below so that you can find the tractors that you want, but some of these might surprise you. So sit back, relax, throw this on your second monitor, and let's dive on into it. Okay, so first up we have the Landini Rex 4GT. Comes stock with a 70 horsepower engine. It is a manual transmission. It has a 40 kilometer top speed, 40 kilometer per hour top speed, with the ability to do a 3-point attachment or not. So you can have no front point attachment on the front if you'd like that. I do not recommend that, but that's something you can do. It also has different engine options. You can do 76 horsepower, 90 horsepower, 95 horsepower, 102, 112 is the maximum horsepower that you can have on this little tractor. Pretty solid little pick. All right. Let's do the tier list. Okay, so we've got first the Landini Rex 4GT, which was a very compact tractor, but it struggled initially with the pulling of the cultivator. It struggled so hard to get with the cultivator to the cultivating field that I do not suggest this one. So we're gonna put it right here in the D tier. Next up is the New Holland TK4.80 methane powered little tractor. It has the ability to have a front weight and nothing else. It comes with 75 horsepower. It is manually transmission. It comes with a 12 kilometer per hour top speed, which is kind of sad and pathetic. You'll be putting this thing on the back of trailers. You will not be driving this thing by itself. $57,500 US. The New Holland TK4.80. This is a super compact tractor, and when I was pulling it with the implement, I wasn't expecting anything good out of it. It has a laughable top speed, so you'll need a trailer to pull this thing around. When we got to the field though, I was shocked at how well it did. I'm actually gonna be putting it up here in the B tier. Next up is the Rigitrac SKH 60 for $127,500 US. It comes with a 75 horsepower engine, CVT variable transmission, 40 kilometers per hour. It's a little bit offset to the side, which is kind of unique to it. It's also weird looking. You have some wheel options. You can do rear twin wheels all together, or standard. Again, it's $127,500 US for this little truck. Okay, number 3 is the Rigitrac SKH 60. The steering on this tractor is kind of neat. It was able to turn both the back and the front wheels at the same time, making for tight turns. On the keyboard, this makes it a little bit difficult as a challenge to control though. It was a little bit slow on the cultivation, but otherwise it's a decent tractor, and I'm gonna put it here in the C tier. Next up is the Zetor Proxima HS for $60,000 stock. You have the option of 76 it comes stock with 76 horsepower, 40 kilometers per hour top speed. It is a nice little tractor with some options to be able to have like a front load attacher, but you can also upgrade the engine to a 88 horsepower or 96 or 107 or even 117 horsepower. The 117 horsepower option is $80,500 US for that tractor. All right, so number 4 is the Zetor Proxima HS. This tractor got up and went, but then the shifting, once the cultivator was attached, it got a little bit wonky. And at only 10 kilometers per hour on the field, this would be a C tier for me. Next up is the Fendt 200 V Vario. Stock, it is 91,000 US dollars, 79 horsepower engine, CVT transmission, 40 kilometers an hour, top speed. It has the option of having different engine setups. So let's take a look at those. You can do 84 horsepower, 94 horsepower, 104 horsepower, 114 horsepower is your max power. There are no other engine setups. You could do Black Beauty, so you can paint it black for $1,000 extra. And you can paint the engine. So if you really want like your goth tractor, here's your little goth tractor for 92,500 US dollars. Number 5, the Fendt 200 V Vario. This tractor is a super small thing. It was great. It would be great for grapes or olives, and it had a solid top speed and got to the field quickly. Though its small size made me nervous that it would flip over. It handled the field decently, but it was a little bit slower than the Proxima. So I'm gonna put this guy down here in the D tier, unless you're doing grapes and olives, and then it's probably a C or a B. It might even be a B with grapes and olives. Next on our list is the Claas Arion 470-410. Comes stock with 90 horsepower. It is manual plus power shift. It comes with a top speed of 40 kilometers per hour. And you have some options such as a front loader attacher, and you can also do some wheel setups. So let's take a look at that. You can also do different engines, so we'll look at that first. You can go up to 100 horsepower, 115, 125, 135, 145, 155. So you can get up to 155 horsepower for 130,500 stock. And let's take those off, and then we'll take out the wheels. You can do twin wheels, just the rear 10 wheels. You can do narrow twin wheels, narrow tires. This could be a good little tractor for doing crop maintenance. Wide tires plus weights could be good for various things. Wide tires, wheel weights. Yeah, so it has a ton of options for the wheels, which is fantastic. Okay. Number 6, the Claas Arion 470-410. I knew this one would do just fine before getting it, and it only proved that once we drove off with the cultivator. It was quick to get up to speed and smooth to handle. I think it was too close to the edge of the field when I drove, so I drove it to the middle of the field to see how it would handle, and it handled itself a little bit better. So I'm gonna put this guy in the B tier because it's kind of expensive for what you get. Next on our list is the Massey Ferguson MF 5700S. For $92,500 stock, you get 95 horsepower, a CVT, 40 kilometers per hour with a front load attacher. You can also upgrade the engine. You can get a 100 horsepower, a 110 horsepower, a 120, a 130, and it looks like 130 is the max for an additional cost of $17,500 US dollars for a total of $110,000 for this little tractor. All right, number 7, the Massey Ferguson MF 5700S. The Massey Ferguson tractors are usually a rather solid choice, and this one seemed to live up to that standard. It got up to speed quickly and drove smoothly to the field. Though once it was in the field, it handled very much the same as the Claas. I would still put this one though at an A due to that top speed. Next on the list is the Antonio Carraro Tony 10900 TTR for $83,500 stock. You get a funky looking tractor that has 98 horsepower with a CVT transmission. 40 kilometers per hour is your top speed. You have the option to have a front weight or as well as a 3-point attacher to the front. You can also add a front weight to that. 200 kilograms, 400 kilograms. It looks like you can go up to 600 kilograms. It's kind of neat seeing the suspension rise and lower with that. That's kind of nice. And you can change the rim color if you'd like. All right, number 8, the Antonio Carraro Tony 10900 TTR. This small and funky looking tractor has a solid turn radius and a decent top speed, and its compact nature makes it easy to store somewhere in your various sheds and so forth. In the field it did okay, but with only an 11 kilometer per hour top speed, I would probably be putting this one at a C tier. Next on our list is the Antonio Carraro Mach 4R. For $96,000 stock, you get 98 horsepower, a manual transmission, 40 kilometers an hour top speed, and your first little baby quad track, which is kind of nice. It has the other attachment points that the other Antonio Carraro had. Number 9, the Antonio Carraro Mach 4R. I thought I was gonna love this tractor due to the tracks, but the turn radius was horrible and it looks a little funny. I'm not using it for its intended purpose because it's more made for grapes and olives. But here it was a little bit slow to get to the field. I really can't suggest this one, and this is going to be our F tier. Next on the list is the Fendt 300 Vario. For $134,500 US. Stock, you get 113 horsepower, a CVT variable transmission with a 40 kilometer an hour top speed. It is a fairly large small tractor with a couple options. You can upgrade the engine to 123 horsepower, 133, 142 horsepower seems to be your max, which is kind of nice. You can do a few different wheel setups, and it seems like the pretty standard wheel setups for Fendt as a whole, which is pretty nice. And a front load attacher. $134,500 stock. Not bad. The Fendt 300 Vario. I love this tractor. It was so smooth to drive and control, and it had a really tight turn radius. It has a solid top speed as well as a 15 kilometer per hour working speed with the cultivator. This is expensive, but I'm still going to be putting this up here in the A tier for me. Next on our list is the John Deere 3650 for $45,000. This is literally the best small tractor that you can get, in my opinion. This thing comes stock with 116 horsepower. It has the ability to change up the wheels. It also has a manual power shift transmission with a 35 kilometer an hour top speed. You have the ability to do a front point attacher, a front loader attacher, which makes this little workhorse one of your best small tractors, in my opinion. Decent horsepower, doesn't weigh that much, and it's just good all around. I like that one a lot. Number 11, the John Deere 3650 is by far the best small tractor you can buy. For the price, nothing else on this list even comes close. It has a high horsepower with a solid platform. It's easy to drive, and it's John Deere for all intents and purposes. It even pulls at the max speed of 15 kilometers per hour on the field and has a front loader attacher. This is S tier by far. You can't get a better tractor for the price. Next on our list is the Zetor Forterra HSX. It comes in at $95,000 US. And for that stock, you get 117 horsepower, a manual power shift transmission with a 40 kilometer an hour top speed, with a price tag of $95,000 stock. I already mentioned that, but I'm mentioning it again. So the upgrades you can get is a 127 horsepower engine. 136 horsepower seems to be the max. So there's two options there, and you have some wheel options as well, which is pretty nice. You can also do a front load attacher on this tractor. So let's check it out. All right, next on the list is number 12, the Zetor Forterra HSX. I was a little surprised with this one. It got up and went. It had a solid turn radius and drove smoothly on the way to the field. I was a bit sad though once it got to the field, as the shifting made it take a long time to get up to speed in the field. As such, it would be an A tier, but I'm gonna downgrade it to a B due to the complicated shifting. Next on our list is the Iseki TJW. Comes stock with 123 horsepower for $92,000 US. You also get a power shift transmission and 30 kilometers per hour on your speed. It does have some wheel options, but there's oh look at that, that's funky. Anyway, has some wheel options for you to be able to choose. It is a pretty solid little tractor, but it's kind of expensive for only 123 horsepower and not much in the way of options on the other sections. Number 13, the Iseki TJW is a decent and small tractor, but it's limited by some of the lack of features, such as like not having a front loader that some of the other small tractors has. It's small and compact, which makes it easy to store, and it drives well, though it has an average top speed. In the field, it handled itself okay, but it had a rough and inconsistent top speed, so I'm going to put this in a C tier. Next on our list is the Fendt 500 Vario. For $152,500 stock, you get a 131 horsepower tractor with a CVT variable transmission, 50 kilometers an hour top speed. It also has the options for some different engine setups, and we'll take a look at those now. So you get 141 horsepower, 156 horsepower, 171 horsepower. So 171 horsepower is your max engine that you can put on this. You can also change the wheel brand, the wheels, design line. So for a little bit more, you can make it chrome, I guess. You can do black beauty on this one. It's also got the front load attacher. Pretty solid tractor. The fact that you can get it up to 171 horsepower is pretty nice. That's pretty solid. Number 14, the Fendt 500 Vario. After the last Fendt, I figured I was going to like this one. It had a wonderful top speed, a great turn radius, and it was easy to drive to the field. It was one of the fastest tractors to get up to speed in the field, but its price tag kind of holds it back. As such, I'm still going to put this up here in the A tier though. Next on our list is the Lindner Lintrac 130. For $123,000, you gain 136 horsepower with a CVT variable transmission, 50 kilometers an hour is your top speed. It has some wheel options, a front loader option, and wheel brand options. Not a bad little tractor. You can also do the front load attacher. I don't remember if I mentioned that. I probably just literally mentioned that. Number 15. The Lindner Lintrac 130. It's not a bad pick. It's got a solid top speed. You can get to the field quickly. It's got a smooth transmission. I can talk. In the field, it was able to pull at top speed at 15 kilometers per hour, and it did so pretty quickly. I'm gonna be putting this bad boy up here in the A tier. Next on our list is the same Virtus 135 RVshift. For $103,500 stock, you get 143 horsepower, power shift transmission, 50 kilometers an hour top speed. It comes with the ability to change some of the wheel setups, and you can put a front load attacher on it. Not bad. Not bad at all. Number 16, the same Virtus 135 RVshift. It has a woeful turn radius. It sort of makes up for it with the solid top speed, but being able to get to the field quickly. But once it's in the field, it can more than handle the cultivator just fine at 15 kilometers per hour. Honestly, it's a decent pick, but that turn radius hurts it so much that I would have put it in the B tier, and even in my notes I have it as a B tier tractor. I'm still gonna move it down to a C tier though. You want a tight turn radius with your small tractors, and that one just does not have it. Last on our list is the Deutz-Fahr 6C RVshift for $103,500 US. You gain 143 horsepower, a power shift transmission, 50 km/h top speed. You can also change the wheels, and it has the option for a front load attacher. Not bad. If you do the Warrior edition for an extra $500, you can actually paint it whatever color you want. Not bad. Although you do need the Warrior edition in order to paint it. Number 17, the Deutz-Fahr 6135C RVshift. It had some giddy up in its step and a very respectful tight turn radius. It has a very fast top speed, and it handled wonderfully as we went to the field. Once we got to the field, it was very quick to get up to top speed and maintained it during the whole cultivator pull. This is an A tier pick for me. Tumbling toothbrushes, Batman. That video took me forever to edit and put together. I really appreciate you being here at the end of the video. It really means a lot to me. Since this video did take so long, I highly encourage you to go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. It goes a long way to help out this small little channel that I just started. I really appreciate each and every one of you for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.